welcome to the G-Lew show. Changing the game on a Tuesday night. I am G-Lew. I will be joined by my beautiful co-host Deandra Chanel, and this is Changing the Game. Let's go. Yes. Without any further ado, this is Changing the Game. I am G-Lew. That is Deandra Chanel.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening. Good.
Good.
What's
So
going on?
I'm excited about this one. I don't meet very many people that are super like sweet from the jump, like where you meet them and you just feel automatically like they have this personality about them that's like super sweet and very down to earth. So when I met Brian at Esteban Oriole Beyond the Streets the exhibit. He had like a meet and greet and he was there and he was the sweetest thing ever. So he's an actor and a model. So I wanted to interview him and see the modeling world from a male's perspective, and
Right.
also to get into his acting because I know that he's done like quite a few things, and he just started in a recent movie by the name of Jumped In. So I want to get into that as well. So if we can bring him in without further ado, Mr. Brian Saenz.
Mr. Brian Saenz. Good evening, sir. There
So
he is. There he
there,
is. There he
Let
is.
me slide in. let,
Oh,
me,
there it
let me make a grand entrance, you know? I should
is.
there, that's what it is. You got the sound effects, you got that little beatbox right there. I see you.
What's
I
up, bro?
that
What's up,
that
guys?
room alone says a lot about you as a person. You are a
Oh, you like the background? You like the backdrop?
yes.
Oh, I'm just a little bit of a movie nerd, a little bit of a movie buff guy, you know? You know? So yeah, I like to wake up and I like to surround myself with, just inspiration and good energy and, yeah, I just feel like I don't know. It looks kind of cool too. So, but yeah, no, that's the backdrop right there. How you
So
guys doing?
as who Brian Saenz Gonzales.
Who am I? Damn, that's deep. No, I'm just kidding. No, who am I? I guess professionally, I am an actor. You touched on it a little bit. I'm an actor. I'm a model. Uh, you know, first and foremost, actor, but I do modeling things here and there. Whenever there's free time. It's definitely something that I've always had an interest in doing. Anything that involves a camera, I'm with it. So whether it's photography or video, I'm always up for it. It's always a fun experience whenever I'm able to create something, especially collaborating with people too. Like most of my friends have been either photographers or actors or in this creative atmosphere. So. Um, yeah, it's just yeah, that's who I am. I'm an actor, photographer, well not photographer, model, but I do a little bit of photography too. I do a little bit of a lot of things. I'm kind of dipping into videography and editing. Now I'm editing a couple short films right now. So I'm just kind of dipping my foot into everything. Um, and okay, well, this is real life. Hi y'all. Okay, we got some people in the building for sure. But oh, sorry, I just hey, okay, yeah, gas mask. We see you, gas mask. We see you.
So what happens on this show since it's live? The audience is able to comment. You're able to see like a lot of
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. For sure.
So,
Yeah.
what is it about the camera that intrigues you so much? Because obviously you do everything when it comes to modeling and acting is in front of the camera, but you also do a lot of behind stuff. Like, what is it about the camera that intrigues you so much?
Well, see, when you're in front of the camera, you're kind of if you look at it as a painting, when you're in front of the camera, you're a color, right? You're a certain color in that painting, a certain shade in that painting. But when you're behind the camera, you're orchestrating the whole thing, and you're adding, okay, I'm gonna mix this color with this color. So you're kind of painting the whole picture when you're behind the camera. Whereas when you're in front of the camera, you're only able to give that one color, which is vital, which is essential to the whole piece. But being behind the camera is definitely uh, a different experience and a different rewarding experience.
Yeah.
What's up, people in the building? Brian, I saw my name. I should
Somebody
be like a
called
DJ or something. I feel like I might make it as a DJ. I should just add that to my to another thing, you know. Oh, it's so funny. That's my cousin. That's my cousin. Um, but yeah, so yeah, that's my relationship with the camera is ultimately, you know, just creating creating stuff and you know, and all that good stuff. So shout out to Brian on the panel. Hi, okay, shout out, big D, keeping it real. Shout out to you, my man. Hell yeah.
So you just recently, well, I kind of want to get into that later. I kind of want to work my way into that. But
Okay.
how did you start off in acting as a whole?
How did I start off acting? So I started off in high school, doing theater in high school. My brother was in the drama production class, and he would do the sets. He would do the construction. He was kind of behind the scenes guy, doing the lighting and all that stuff. So he would get free tickets, and we would come to see the shows. And right off the bat, when I stepped into the theater, I was like, "Wow, this is completely different." Obviously, from all the other rooms in school and classes and clubs. So I just saw the camaraderie, the the it just looked like everybody was having so much fun, and I just wanted to be a part of that. So when it came to my turn to go into high school, I kind of followed in his steps a little bit. I did construction, building sets, behind the scenes guy. But then obviously, you know, with the more and more there, my teacher started seeing, hey, dude, you're kind of crazy. Like, let's get you on stage, not behind the stage. You know, let's show off some of that craziness. So I kind of started to do little skits, little improv games and stuff like that. And he handed me my first script, and yeah, ever since then, I grew attached to it. I grew attached to performing and portraying these characters. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, so I started in high school. I did my 4 years there, then went out to do community theater around my community and stuff like that. Over here in San Bernardino, Rialto, IE area, I just kind of started going to Redlands, started going to all these community theaters, learning what I could. Found a mentor, found a teacher who really showed me how to act in front of the camera. So he kind of took me from that theater to film. So I studied with him for 4 years. Really old school guy, old school Italian guy from the East Coast. And from there, eventually the birds got to leave the nest. So he was like, "Hey, get out of here. I've already showed you everything I could do. Go on, skedaddle." So then I kind of started to come out to LA a little bit more and started networking. That's kind of how I got into jumped in uh, through a friend that I met in that class. He kind of recommended me to a guy named whose name's James, and I guess they needed some guy. I guess somebody had fallen off for the role, and I was ready. You know, I had all my training, everything, and met the director, and from there on, from that role, then that just got the ball rolling slowly and slowly, and then now I'm doing a couple projects as of now. But yeah, that's how I got into acting, just through high school, through drama production in high school. That's where I started. Yeah.
So upon doing a little bit of research, you've done theater also, right?
Yeah, so theater mainly theater is what I have the most experience with. Like I said, I did it in high school and then I did it in the community, but mostly like drama, comedy stuff. Not so much sing and dance. You know, like not so much like that stuff. But I
Like
did.
music, it was more of a, it was more of like actual theater, which is acting, not necessarily like the musical type,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was very much small theater. So it wasn't big proscenium like big, theater. It was more the audience was like right like 5 feet away from you kind of thing. So it was already kind of gearing me up for the camera because I was already kind of working small. Um, so yeah, a lot of theater and then yeah, so yeah, mostly there. But now I'm starting to do a lot more film lately. Yeah.
What's your preference between the two if you had to choose?
Well, I would definitely say film. Film is definitely um, it's tough. You know, it's tough because sometimes I'll go a couple months without some theater, and so just like last year. I mean, the last time I did theater was about a year ago, over there at the Frida Theater in Los Angeles. Um, so it's tricky. You know, I can't go a long time without either one. You know, like I always have to kind of go. If I go a dry spell without theater, then I have to go do theater. But preferably, I do like film a lot better. But it's an equal relationship with both of them. I'd say. Yeah.
Let us talk about the pressures of acting.
Hmm.
Do you feel the way you got into film that there is a pressure to look, act a certain way in order to get the roles that you need or that you want?
Definitely. There's definitely obviously a pressure that comes along with it. Very early on, I was able to get a commercial agent, but he only did specifically commercials, and I would do these auditions, but ultimately you have to understand your look and what you bring to the camera. Obviously, there's people who are going to be better at commercial. There's people that are going to be better at film. There's people that are going to be better suited for theater. So yeah, so there's definitely is a pressure, and that's kind of why I'm leaning more towards film, because in commercial you have to have the pretty, this, the white teeth, and like the perfect, this and that. And I understand that I have a little bit more of a different look. I have a little bit more of a rugged, gritty look that could better translate through film. So there is definitely an understanding within yourself that okay, look, this is what I can do, and this is my avenue. Where are my best chances? Where can I get my foot in? And then maybe down the line go and venture off into other things. But definitely for sure there is that pressure of the oh, you got to look a certain way to play this character. You got to look a certain way to do this. You got to look a certain way. Um, that's definitely always there. But ultimately, it's just being comfortable with yourself and accepting what you bring to the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a few more questions, but I'll kick it over to my co-host for now. So I'm sure you have a couple questions for you.
Hmm.
Okay. What's up, Brian? How you doing, bro?
What's up, man?
Good,
Doing
good.
good, doing good.
A few things I want to ask you, but since we're speaking on, acting and theater, which you did, what did you see the difference between like theater when
Mhm.
opposed to when you go onto the set and do the real thing, like the movies, and how that
Yeah.
works? Do you take from the theater, or is it a totally different thing that you have to kind of bring a whole different kind of character, or what? However you do it to make it happen, is it different from theater?
Yeah, it's that's a good question. Yeah, it's definitely different, and that's kind of why I can't go a long time without either or, because it kind of gives you a different feeling, a different adrenaline rush for sure. I mean, theater is one take. The train starts moving, it's not gonna stop. You have
Right,
to keep going. You don't have a take two. You don't have a take three. So once you go off on that train on that path, you better bring it and you better stay with it the whole entire time.
right,
But what I can say about theater is it's really helped prepare me for the camera, because I'm used to that pressure. I'm used to all those eyeballs on me, like how you get on a set, so I'm almost glad that I took the theater then film route, because it allowed me to build that layer of armor, of confidence also too. If you could get through 2 hours up there talking, okay, I could do this 30-second real quick, thing, it definitely is. There's certain methods to the madness, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, keep it simple. You're up there to be yourself and perform and do you, right? So, um, as far as the creative and the preparation aspect of it, obviously with film, there's different techniques to get to different situations. Whereas in theater, you kind of it's a little bit more technical in theater. You're hitting a mark, you're doing these things. There are moments, for stuff like that too. But yeah, there's definitely a big difference between theater and film. But again, that's why like you get a different rush at the end of a show, because it's like every show is a new film, is a new thing. So it's like, um, yeah, but it's definitely a different beast. But I love them both.
right.
Yeah.
Tell us about this project you're involved in now, that Jumped In, because that's interesting, and tell the people what that's about, because even that title was like, you know what I mean. So tell us about this Jumped In project, homie.
Yeah. Jumped In is it's a film that we just recently released. It's on Prime Video right now. You could check it out. You could rent it on there. We shot it maybe about 2 years ago. Took us about a year to shoot it and another year for post production. But yeah, it's a film about a young Chicano kid, you know, growing up in the '90s. You know, it's based loosely on the true story of the director Miguel Garcia, and it kind of tells his story and how he kind of navigated around those environments. And it's definitely it's well, I guess I got to be careful because I can't give anything away. I'm still getting used to like, okay, I can't give anything away.
All right.
But yeah, it's basically that's what it is. It's a Chicano film, and it's got a couple OGs. It's got Danny De La Paz. You know, I think you guys recently interviewed Vero Echo Park from Mi
Yes.
Vida Loca. She's in there. I had a scene with her in there.
Mhm.
She's super cool. And a couple like Noel G. I mean Daniel, like a couple like legends. You know, so that's one thing we try to do with the film as well. Not only tell the director's story, but also pay homage to all these other people. You
Right.
know, and what they've kind of brought to the table. But yeah, that's what Jumped In. Jumped In is a short film about a young teenager growing up in the barrio for sure.
Star-studded cast already, man. It's like makes you want to go watch it. I could already tell. You know what I mean? So people go check it out. It's on Prime Video, right? You could go watch it on Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Jumped
Yep.
In.
Yep.
What let me ask you one more thing. Being that you're a young actor, model, you do it all, right? But your acting thing, who are some of the actors or well, two part. Who are some actors you really looked up to or admired or really just appreciate their work? And number two, what was your movie for you? Like I mean a wide range, but like more so like the movies you know that we what was the movie for you that maybe your top two or three that you really like your favorites?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, definitely actors and people that I've looked up to would definitely have to be this guy right here, Rocky.
Oh,
Um,
Stallone.
yeah, so I got my guy Rocky up there. So Sylvester Stallone. And Rocky's in my top three as well. But
Yeah.
you know,
Two or three or
huh?
four. Which
This,
one? Two, three, or four?
which was my favorite?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough, man. That's a tough one. But honestly, I gotta go with the one. I gotta
Oh.
go with one because it's and I have it on the other side over here. You just can't see it, but it's on the corner over here. Um, I would definitely have to say one because it's just you see that young, hungry, artist in him, and you could just see it throughout the whole entire film. And I just feel like he gives one of the best performances. I mean, the whole story, the whole message behind the film is inspiring, right? This whole underdog mentality, and you get one shot kind of thing. So it's definitely something that, as a kid, whenever it would, because they would do these marathons on TV on like AMC,
Right.
they'd have like a marathon of Rocky, a marathon of stuff. So anytime there was a marathon, okay, there goes my 8 hours. there goes my 5 hours for the day. So
Right.
um, it's just something I always grew up with, and yeah, definitely Sylvester Stallone is one of them. And that's kind of why I started wearing hats too, because he kind of always rocked the fedoras and everything like that. So I'm definitely inspired just in general of his whole style, his whole energy. Another guy I would say would be like Al Pacino. Al Pacino was definitely up there for me as well. That's the good thing about having my teacher, my mentor. He was 80 years old,
Mhm.
so he was an 80-year-old Italian guy. So he kind of introduced me to all these old school actors like Brando and back in the 70s and
Right.
Steve McQueen and all these guys. And he kind of made me fall in love with them because up until that point I started training with him when I was like 18 or 19. Up until that point, like all I really knew was like Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper. But once he introduced me to this whole other avenue, this whole other era, I was just like, man, these guys were like seeping with charisma and that X factor, he would call it. They all had that X factor. So I just kind of studied them, and I studied them, and yeah, those are definitely Al Pacino, like Sylvester Stallone and Steve McQueen. Basically, all these guys that you see up here. You see James Dean up there. I definitely draw inspiration from every single one of them in their own unique way, for
Right.
sure.
Dope,
Yeah.
dope, dope. And Rocky, you said your favorite movie, Rocky.
Yeah. I would say Rocky is definitely that. It's definitely that comfort movie. You know, whenever I'm feeling down, whenever I feel like, man, I didn't get that part, or I didn't get that. You know, let me pop in some Rocky real quick and just get into a better mindset, a better headspace. So that's definitely also my comfort movie. I would say, something I always pop on whenever it's getting rough out there. You know. So
Right. And,
yeah.
and one more question before I pass it back to Deandra. Being that you are an actor, what would you say would be your dream role to play as an
Mm.
actor? And number two, who would you want to star along? Like, could be your dream castmate or whatever.
Man. Yeah, that's a oof. Okay. I definitely, if I could get a role similar to something like Taxi Driver,
Hmm.
Robert De Niro, that kind of,
Right.
that's
Like,
definitely something I could see myself doing. That's like the ultimate goal is to have a role in a character that way. That because the thing about me with a character is the character's got to have a mix of danger and likability.
right.
Um, Whereas his character, there was, I guess, a better example is a newer movie called Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. Um, and those characters, they have a good mix of danger and likability. So, but for example, for now, I would do something like Taxi Driver. I could definitely pull that off. And to star across somebody, I guess I'll keep it modern. I definitely am a big fan of Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal is doing his thing right now. I feel like we would have really good energy, a really good chemistry between me and him. We both have that same kind of rugged, look a little bit. So, um, I'm just a big fan of him and what he's doing right now. He's got a lot of stuff popping off right now. So that would be a dream come true if I could work alongside Pedro. So Pedro, if you're listening, hit up my agent, and let's get it happening.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Speaking, it's there. You never know. He might be in the comments right now. Hey, yo, Pedro. Like,
Make it happen. Make it happen.
What we tend to do is once we do a show, well, at least I try to do that because I feel like at some point it'll help somebody. Whenever it is that we do mention somebody that you do want to work with, we will tag them in that clip.
oh, okay. Yeah, let's tag him up. Let's tag him up.
Okay, so a couple of things. You were mentioning Stallone,
Hmm.
that he's one of your idols. Now, for me personally, do you believe that there is a point where an actor should kind of like hang it up and like kind of salvage the legendary status that they have? Because at
Yeah.
times they could take roles that are just kind of like, you know, just to
Hmm.
kind of still be there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You
Yeah.
feel like there should be a cutoff.
Yeah. That's definitely a topic in the industry. You hear a lot. You hear it a lot with directors and actors. Like, for example, like Quentin Tarantino, right? He only wants to do 10 movies because anything after 10 is him just kind of hanging around, and he doesn't want to ruin that prestige of body of work that he's done. You know, but it's tough. It's tough when you're an artist because there is no retirement for an artist. Your retirement is when you hit the ground, kind of thing. So you're always, as an artist, trying to find a way to express yourself. And ultimately, yes, I agree with there should be a consideration of like, okay, I did my good things here, but ultimately, if something's irking you, if something's driving you to tell a story, I think you should tell it, or try to find it in a different way. Try to find it in a different avenue. Maybe do some painting or do some other thing. There's all kinds of art forms, to express yourself in. But that's definitely a tricky thing with an artist is there is no retirement. Until you're 6 feet under, kind of thing. So, and the goal is to have a body of work so that when you're 6 feet under, it's still alive, and it's still art, and it's still motivating people, and it's still telling the story, and it's still inspiring people. So, Yeah, no, but I do agree. Some people are like, "Hey, yo, like, just stop. Like, now you're just doing crazy stuff." Like, so, at some point, it's like, look, let's work something out. Like, let's do maybe let's get into music. Maybe do you have a good voice? Like, I feel you though. I feel you though. But it's hard. It's hard being an artist because it's like you always want it to express something, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I say that because in my personal opinion, Stallone, yes, he's great. I'm not an action movie girl. However, when I seen Expendables, I was irritated.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. See,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
sit
yeah.
down.
Like the first two, the
Oh,
first three were
hey,
cool.
don't talk about Stallone. You might get something started now. That's
No,
that.
and I think
Yeah,
he's doing
that's his guy.
he's doing like Tulsa King, and I haven't really dug into it either. Like he's doing this whole thing, and you hear stories too about him like not being the nicest person on set and stuff like that too. So it's like maybe he's just getting into that old grumpy era or whatever. But I don't know. You know, it's definitely a tricky balance. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my guy. Don't be talking down on him like that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now the other thing I heard is that so I shout out to Christine for the Crown Peach show.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes. Yes, Chris. Yes.
I was watching one of your interviews with her, right?
Hmm.
And I heard that you were reading a script and you read a specific word and you're like, can you go over this with me? Because it looks like it's not supposed to be in the script. What word was that?
So yeah, because the film Jumped In is based off the '90s, right? And it's about cholos and and me personally, I didn't grow up in the '90s, or I was never affiliated, or I was never like around this environment. So some of the terms and things that they would say back then, I would just need like a little bit of clarification on. I'd be like, okay, so what is a ranker? What do you mean like a ranker? Okay, that's like okay, yeah, or there were certain words where I was just like, okay, I get the subtext of it. Like I get when you put it in a sentence, I understand it. But can you just give me the clear definition? Because I need to know these things. So if anything, it's always just me like making sure I got it right because I want to do it justice. So yeah, there's definitely were a couple lines where I had to go, and luckily the director, obviously, he lived it and he was around it. So otherwise, I wouldn't have done the role if the main source wasn't about it. So yeah, no, yeah, there's definitely a couple lines in there where I'm like, can you clarify this for me real quick? Just I just want to make sure. um
So the word he said that the word that he didn't understand like where it fit into the script was leva.
oh yeah, I know it was either leva or ranker, or it was
It was leva.
oh, it was okay, it was yeah, yeah,
Kind of
like I said, yeah. Yeah, so I had to make sure. I was like, okay, I get, I've heard it before, but I just like again, I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, he likes to tease me about that, like, oh yeah, we got to like, but hey, you get what you get, and um, uh, yeah, no, that was definitely a part of that. I'm glad you saw that. That was shout out to Chris too. She has a great show.
Um, how difficult was it? Because I actually found that very interesting. Because you don't give me the vibe of like a street dude or being around that growing up in that. How difficult was it to take on this role? Like this is something that you know nothing about, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah.
So
Um.
how difficult was it to prepare for this?
Chavala.
Yeah, that's another one there. That's another one. Um. Yeah. No, it was. I wouldn't say it was difficult because I was surrounded by the real thing. Like again, the director, he had lived all that, so he knew everything about it. Even the people that he casted in the film were from that genre, from that era. So for me, it was just doing homework. Just like any actor, you take on a role and you do your homework, you do your research. Um, you ask questions to the director if you're not certain about things. So I asked a lot of questions and I did a lot of research and I made sure I did the part justice with the mannerisms and their mentality and all that stuff. So from the most part, I did get a good reception on it, um, and so yeah, so it was definitely a challenge, but at the same time, I had the resources I needed to portray it. So yeah, that's that's how I got to that because like I said, I had the real people there, so I was able to ask questions. I was able to, get all the information to do it justice for sure.
So let's talk about a couple of the short films that you've been in. Uh, we can. I want to elaborate a little bit more on your career as a whole.
Hmm. So a couple short films that I've been in. So now right now I'm doing. I just recently shot a short film called "Here's to You," and we just finished that last week, and yeah, I'm also editing on that too. I've also done another film called Lost Empire with my friend Danny. That's basically set here down here in the IE in San Bernardino. Um, so yeah, that we missed that one, and a couple other things in the works for sure. A lot of seeds being planted everywhere, kind of thing. So, that's out now. It would be Lost Empire, and it would be Jumped In. Those are the main things that are out right now for sure. Yeah.
Let's change topics. I want to talk about your modeling career.
Hmm.
Oh, hold on. You had to put that Rocky in there, huh? Dope,
I had
dope, dope. That was dope, brother.
thank you. Yeah, I had to pay homage. I had to pay. Go ahead and go to Prime Video and put Jumped In, so you could see that.
There you go. What up, Keisha? Jumped in, and that's sort of like a promo too. Like when you want to like put your portfolio or your you know what I mean, to the agencies and all that, right? You can show them that. That's dope right there, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely and it's something I want to get into. Like even for Jumped In, I did a little video like that for Jumped In. We had these shirts, right? That we had like the merch, and so what I did is I I did a music video or like a video shoot showing off that merch, but also tying in the premiere because I was kind of advertising the premiere at that time too as well. Also incorporating Big Puppets. He has his own clothing brand. So just finding little ways to collaborate with people all within the same like video kind of thing. So even with that one, that was a hat with this hat actually by Freddie Negretti, who's like a legendary Chicano tattoo artist who kind of invented that gray and black style, the laugh now, cry later portraits. So he came out with his own hat brand,
Right.
uh, and so that I incorporated into that, and I got him to collaborate with that because it's showing off his merch, but it's also I'm adding my own little mix, my own little message into it. So it's kind of like a little thing that I'm starting to get into for sure. Yeah.
Do you feel like videos are going to be the new summation card?
They're gonna be the what?
Do you feel like videos are going to be the new summation card?
Yeah, it's kind of getting to that, honestly. Honestly, with modeling, I haven't dug into it too much. Like I would do it back then, every now and then I'd get a photographer friend who wants to just go out and shoot some stuff. But it was never on a serious business professional way. It was more just like a hobby. Like let's just go out, let's put a look together, and let's just go do this. But it's definitely something now with social media. I'm seeing a lot more of videos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see where it goes for sure.
Have you done any recent campaigns or any campaigns that you're like proud
Any recent campaigns? So I recently did my technically my first runway show with Thrifts, Elviria. So we did a Cinco de Mayo over there in San Diego Fest. And basically, what we did is, I was working with this amazing designer called Christian, and he kind of made this vest for me. And he kind of had a look for each guy. You know, he wanted one to be like a chado vaquero. He wanted one to be like a streetwear. He wanted one guy to be like a hardworking attire kind of thing. So, yeah. So that was I guess my last little thing that I did. It was right there, ran my first runway, and that was a lot of fun. So, um, yeah, that was a fun time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it's very few and far in between that I have a guest that I kind of dip into fashion with because I'm a fashion person.
Mhm.
Well, when we met, obviously we talked about that. Where
Mhm.
do you get the inspiration for your style? Because you give me very crooner, Sinatra, James Dean, like very old school, but you're obviously a younger person.
Yeah.
Uh, what what is it about this particular style that inspires you?
What is it? I mean, yeah, I think my style. I've always tried to incorporate different aspects
Mhm.
of my not only my personal life but also what art, right? People that have inspired me, like I said, I would see Stallone wearing these hats, and I would always gravitate towards them. And you know I wear my vaquero boots because my roots are from Mexico, Zacatecas. So I always want to show where I come from, like my heritage, my roots, but also have my own new mix to it. And yeah, it's just inspiration from all over the place, from like all that vintage Hollywood stuff. And I get a lot of inspiration from the characters I play too as well. The I think it was around high school I played Pony Boy in The Outsiders. And The Outsiders is about like greasers and slicking your hair back and all that stuff. So when I dove into that character and I started, doing all the research, that's kind of where I was like, wow, I actually like this music. I like this 50s. I like this style. I like the way it makes me feel. So I kind of stick onto some characters, So that's kind of where I got my whole little greaser style, that's when I started slicking my hair back with, all that stuff. And then later on, meeting my mentor, meeting my teacher, he was from New York, back east. So he would, hey Brian, you got to get a pinky ring. You got to get, you got to get the gold chain. You got to get, little things. So just with people that I've met, the people that I've looked up to, I've kind of just taken little traits out of them, and just incorporated it and stirred it up into my own little pot. And yeah, that's basically how I've come up with my style thus far. Just drawing inspiration from all different avenues. You know,
You give me the vibe of the guy who starred in Bronx Tale.
in which one?
Bronx Tale.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Do
I
you?
forget his name.
I know, me too.
The guy that went
um,
like off the edge, right? And then he came back, and now he's doing like inspirational stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, he does have a dark past. But did you like that movie though, Bronx Tale?
Oh, I love that movie. That first minute, that intro, they're playing the baseball and the sticks, and you have that music. Yeah, that's definitely one of my top 10 movies for sure. Bronx Tale. Yeah.
do you? Because you know how when you go into, I don't know if you went through central casting or whatever casting company that you went through,
Mhm.
but you have to go into your headshots, you have to update them and stuff. Do you feel like you can do both roles, the Chicano role and kind of like the Italian gangster,
Mhm.
like maybe younger cat kind of role? Like, have you
Yep.
ever been approached to do like an Italian uh, role?
Yes, so I've actually have played an Italian guy, with that teacher. Like I said, he was an old school Italian. So he one day he did present this play, called, um, Italian American Reconciliation. Um, I believe was what the name. So yeah, so I was able to, again. I think that's where I played that character, and I kind of started taking more traits out of the Italian style kind of thing, with the fedoras and all that stuff too. So it kind of re-cemented this whole idea of this fedora because, but yeah, I have played a wise guy, if you will, before, and I do get approached to. I do get that a lot, where it's like, oh yeah, you could play Caucasian, you could play Latino, you could play all this stuff, and ultimately that is the goal, to have a lot of range, right, as an actor, to play into different parts. So but ultimately, you I am Mexican American, and I want to make sure to, like with this previous film that we just wrapped, it's based on the 1920s, and it's kind of like a film noir style. um and usually when you think of film noir, you think of white people, right? You think of Caucasians, you think of Humphrey Bogart, you think of, all these guys. So with this director, Kimberly, what she really wanted to get across was to have the whole cast Latino, Mexican American, and throw in some Spanish in there. Um, just to kind of like, because we never seen that before, and they were around back then too, so it's kind of like that's kind of ultimately like the goal, that I have too, as well, as to break those barriers, and not limited to just certain uh you know genres, and so just so we could dip into everything. So I'm very excited for that to come out, and it's for people to see that, because I do think it's a unique story and a unique point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick it back to my co-host. He may have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, I want to ask what's next up for Brian, man. You seems like you've been diving into some diverse different roles, challenging yourself and everything. But what's next up for you, or things that you want to do?
Yeah, lately I've been on a good roll for sure. After my premiere, I've been pretty busy with all sorts of projects. Definitely just continue the acting grind. Start diving in a little bit more into modeling. I do have a photo shoot this Saturday. Um, I'm gonna be working with this talented photographer named Ronnie. I'm gonna be modeling, but I'm also gonna be doing BTS, videography, stuff like that. So that's definitely something I'm interested in getting into more. Continuing this little series that I have, kind of with that video you just showed. Have a video for different people. I want to do one for Michael Jackson. I want to do one for all these people that have inspired me. Um, so yeah, just keep the acting grind going. Try to dip into some modeling, get in where I can get in, and yeah, just keep the ball rolling.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Um,
Yeah.
Man, I want everyone to check out his movies. Everything we talked about jumped in is on Prime. Tell them about all your other projects where they could find those at and check those out as well.
Yeah, so the main one is going to be Jumped In. That's
Okay.
going to be my first body of work that's been out in public, and everything else is either being worked on or in the process of in post production. Um, yeah, so Jumped In is the main place the most accessible place that you'll be able to directly see my work. So yeah, look that up on Prime Video. Jumped In. And pretty soon we're gonna have Lost Empire, the San Bernardino story. We're gonna throw it up on Chicano Hollywood. They have an app, so we're gonna start putting some things on there for sure. So yeah, just stay tuned to my Instagram. Stay tuned to there. That's where I kind of, show what I'm working on. So if you want to stay tuned, just follow me on IG, and yeah.
That's what's up. Follow the homie. Tell them where they could. Tell them how they follow you. What's your IG and all that. I'm sorry, Deandra.
No.
Yeah, so my Instagram is that's my main thing. I don't really do Twitter or TikTok or anything like that. My main social media is Instagram, and it's Brian underscore Saenz. So that's Brian underscore Saenz.
There
That's
it
where
is.
you can follow.
And
Yeah,
DD has the link in the chat as well. Go ahead, Deandra.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Where do you see at what point in your career would you say I made it? What is it that you have to do in your career, whether it be modeling or acting, for you to say, I've made it, this is where I want it?
What would be the point where I say I made it? Um, I think I think getting to the point where I can help provide for my family. If I can get to a point where my career and whatever my talents, or whatever jobs I do get, once it gets to the point where I can support and help people, especially my family, I think that's when I can say, okay, we did something here, you know, like, or I did something here. So it's I think that'll be the moment, or I could just get a Lamborghini and be like, damn, okay, yeah. I mean, no, just kidding. Once I get the once I get the Lamborghini, yeah, Brian, you made it. Damn, look at that cyber truck. What, man, you got the condo up there? No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Yeah, I would. You know, it's funny. We've never really heard that answer. Normally, it's if I work with this person, if I do have this material thing, but it's never been like just to make sure that I can just make sure my family's.
Yeah, if I can
So
have
that's
a,
a,
yeah, for sure.
no, that sounds a lot. Do you plan on doing any other theater stuff in the future?
Oh, definitely, for sure. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of film lately, so definitely, especially once it starts to if it once it start because you know the film industry it's up and down, right? You know, you have moments where like right now I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I know eventually it's gonna slow down a little bit, and you know in those periods I'll reach out to I'll see what's you know where I can get a into some theater or something just because one thing you don't want to do as an artist is you don't want to be just sitting down doing nothing, right? You always want to be out there, whether that's a workshop. I do a lot of workshops. Um, yeah, I definitely want to get back into theater eventually for sure. Yeah.
For anybody who's trying to get into acting, do you feel like acting courses are necessary?
Well, acting classes, you said?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. No, I mean, cause look, everything I've gotten so far has been through an acting class, has been through a teacher, has been through a mentor. I got jumped in because I had met somebody in that class who recommended me to another director. Started working with that director, then that director recommended me to jumped in. So you got to get out there. You got to get out there, and you can't be one of these people who just go out into LA with no experience, with no toolkit, and expect for things to happen, unless you have some crazy luck. But the old saying, you know, preparation meets luck, and all that. So you got to be prepared. You got to do your homework. You got to know what you're doing. So I've been blessed to have great teachers, great mentors. Again, and even and just continue to do that. Continue to reach out. You might find something new. You might find a new technique, a new style, or that works better for you. So just yeah, definitely get into a workshop and just get out there. That's definitely a must. Yeah.
So, do you have any tips at all for people who are trying to get into the acting field or the modeling field for that matter?
Yeah. So tips for acting and modeling. I mean, ultimately, yes, it's kind of what I said previously. You just got to get out there and you just got to get the ball rolling. You got to find a teacher. You got to find a mentor. Um, but ultimately, just I think one thing I've noticed that's helped me is just to not take things personal. Don't be taking things personal, yo. Like, um, you're gonna get a lot of rejections, a lot of this didn't work out, but you can't let it bog you down. You can't let that you know affect you. You gotta have a thick skin. So if anything, just it sounds cheesy, but believe in yourself and F all the haters. No, and yeah, I mean, just don't take things too personal and just keep moving forward. Just keep pushing. Just keep swimming. What's her face would say, Dory. Just keep swimming. Just.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely.
I actually have a question for you
Hmm.
in terms of modeling. Do you think that male models have that same casting couch issue that female models have?
Honestly, I wouldn't know how to answer that because, like I said, my modeling experience hasn't been to that point where like it's casting, right? Where it's like you're going into these that whole thing. So honestly, I wouldn't know how to answer that because I am just so early on into modeling. Um, but it's definitely even talking to you that day, it's definitely interesting to find that there aren't a lot of male models, and I'm just like, why not? Like, why is that? Like, why like? especially actors, like you're already in front of a camera, like, so it's like, yes, it's different, but try smiling, do some, have some fun, because I guess, I guess you got to kind of have a little bit of relationship with fashion too, um, at least that's kind of what's driven me to modeling is fashion and creating these looks and you know but yeah, that is interesting that there is that kind of stigma around it for sure. But let's change that. We're gonna change that.
I think I asked the question wrong, but that was actually a good answer for another type of question.
Oh.
Um, my question was more about with female models. We had another model here, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, that we were talking about.
Lizzie.
we we talked about dangers of modeling with females.
Hmm.
So the question that I was trying to ask you is, do you feel like male models have to go through the same thing?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, yeah, that's tricky. I would say no. I would say, like I said, I don't. I haven't been around too many. I haven't, done or heard stories or anything like that. So, but I would think, yeah, it would definitely be more dangerous for a girl to get into modeling, just because of all the stuff you hear, all the crazy thing that goes on, and um, so yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't know how to approach that question because I haven't personally been out there to, one, hear the stories or just been around it enough to really have a solid answer. Yeah.
I
Never had
I
no
want
episodes, have you? Any Diddy? Just kidding.
The what?
That's a joke. That's a joke, bro. Go ahead.
No, I heard Diddy. That's all I heard.
No, you haven't had any Diddy episode or Diddy encounters?
ship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't. Luckily, I haven't. Like I said, so I don't know. Yeah.
Um, for modeling, can you kind of go through the process of what it takes to start like an actual casting process?
To start an actual casting process, I mean, yeah, these modeling questions, it's tricky for me because, like I said, I'm still very new to it. The only approach I've had to modeling is, again, just for hobby, just for fun.
Oh, I see.
Now, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't know how to answer anything about casting agencies and how they look for things and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't be able to accurately answer that question. Yeah.
Do you see yourself getting like dabbling a little bit more, like going to the castings and submitting the cards and things like that? Do you see yourself doing that?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely something I find interesting, and as this thing grows, and as for sure, obviously my acting is primary, but if
Mhm.
there's any avenues, if I do meet somebody, hey, there's this modeling thing, you get a little side job, a little, so it's definitely something I'm interested for sure.
Yeah. No, I can see it. Like you have this really dope like look and aesthetic to you that can get you a lot of modeling work. I feel like when it comes to acting and modeling, you can do like you can do it 50/50 like full time.
For sure.
Because I mentioned earlier the summation card. For those who don't know what a summation card is, a summation card is where you put like maybe like 4 or 5 photos of yourself on one side with your measurements and your height, your weight, your hair color, eye color, things like that. And then on the other side, it's like a big picture of yourself with your name at the bottom. Because
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people don't know what a summation card is because they think it's
Mhm.
just kind of going in, walking and walking back or whatever that you're gonna do if you're gonna do runway. But you have to have a summation card so they can have your
Yeah.
measurements and then just to kind of know who they're gonna be casting.
It's just like an actor, they have their headshots, right? You go in there with
Yeah,
your headshot on one side and your resume on the other side, with all your credits and all that stuff and your measurements and height and hair color and all that stuff. So the acting aspect, yeah, but I've never looked into. That's interesting. A summation card for modeling. That's something I'm gonna have to look into if it's something I'm gonna dive into for sure.
it's a little bit better. It's easier because with the summation card, it's just the pictures and then your physical attributes. You don't have to put your password.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool,
So,
cool.
anything else that we should know about Brian Saenz before we end this interview?
I mean, we kind of covered it. We kind of covered it. Um, I like horses. My favorite color is burgundy. I just go off
Hey,
into.
hold on. You like horses? Do you ride horses?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I have horses in my backyard. You want me to take you right now?
Wow.
I got horse. That's what I'm saying. So my roots are, my parents and my mom and my family are from Mexico, Zacatecas. So my whole life I've grown up with horses, with animals in my backyard.
Dope.
So that's kind of where I you might see me with the charro boots. You might see me with with the charro vest and stuff like that. So I incorporate these things into my fashion. So, but yeah, no, I'm an excellent horse rider for sure. So,
Dope.
any westerns out there? Anybody casting for a western? Kevin Costner, you out there? Let me know.
That's dope, bro.
Go
Yeah,
ahead and speak that into your life. It'll happen.
yeah, for sure. Let's tag him up too, Kevin Costner. Let's tag him up on there.
We got you. But thank you so much for coming on. You've been such a gem.
Mhm.
Thank you for all the information that you gave in order to get people started with these processes. Now let us know one more time your social media so people can follow you.
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Brian_Science. That's BRIAN_SAENZ. And that's it. Just Instagram. You want my number? You could get 909 No, I'm just kidding. You can call me up right now. I know there's some people in.
I love it. Hey man, I want to thank you personally, man, for joining our platform, man. Great guy, man. Learned a lot. You know what I mean? You're a great inspiration to people, bro. You know what I mean? Just your story, everything you do, you're so diverse. You know what I mean? And I love your character, man. You yourself as a person, man. I want to wish you continued success, brother. You know what I mean? The sky's the limit.
Thank
I
you.
hope to see you in many more films.
For sure. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me. This was fun. For
Yes.
sure.
Absolutely. In the future, if there's ever any projects that you want to promote, you're always welcome to come back. And then for all the artists that we have on, like you can always tag me and like for any projects or anything or any tickets that you're trying to sell, and I repost it for you.
Okay, for sure. Cool, cool, cool. Sounds good. Thank you
So
guys.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
It was an honor. Thank you, man, so much. Much
Thank
love.
you.
Shout out to the homie Brian, man. Go follow him. Go check out that Jumped In ASAP. It's on Prime Video right now. Jumped In. I'm gonna go watch it after this right here. Go support the homie. Much love and respect, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. That's the homie right there, man. And this is another episode of Changing the Game with G-Lew and the beautiful Deandra Chanel. Take it over, Deandra.
So next week, we said we were keeping these interviews a mystery because we want to be able to give a shock factor and a nice little surprise to our audience. But we have someone in the building who is extremely legendary in the music and acting circuit, but it's very non-traditional, that transition from music to acting. So next week we'll have an amazing guest on. So you guys be on the lookout for that. We will be posting it sometime this week or next week. So you guys just stay tuned so you guys can have that pleasant surprise for next Tuesday.
That part. Keep your ears open and your eyes peeled. You know what I mean? We're coming back next week. New guests, surprise guests. Want to give a shout out to DD Hairston, our producer. Everyone in the chat that supported tonight, make sure you follow, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but like the video. Thank you, Keisha. And everyone who supported us tonight, thank you for the love and support. I'm G-Lew. That's Deandra Chanel. This is Changing the Game. We'll see you
So
guys
next
next week. Peace.